We are talking new Black Ops 7 Zombies leaks in this video, as with the Season 4 Reloaded update, data miners have been able to find new code tied to potential gameplay systems and features that seem to be present in Black Ops 7. But not everyone seems to be happy, so we're going to dive into it, see why people aren't happy with what they're hearing, and dive into some other leaked code discovered that seems to suggest round-based isn't the only mode we're getting this year. We've got a lot to discuss, so let's just dive straight into it. But to make sure you don't miss out on the latest news about Black Ops 6 and Black Ops 7, and you're new around here, then consider hitting the subscribe and bell buttons down below. They're completely free and takes literally 1 second. Jumping straight in, these new leaked details were found within the latest Season 4 Reloaded update in the COD HQ and were shared on Twitter by @RealityUK. He was able to find 2 new sets of code that relate to Black Ops 7 Zombies, with the first being strings of code that tie to the new inventory system for Black Ops 7 Zombies. When referring to an inventory system, this means how many slots your character can hold when it comes to any item in the game. We're not talking about picking up buildable parts or anything like that, but things like weapons, grenades, etc. Most of the slots for the inventory system seem completely normal, but there are a few things that seem new, as well as a returning function, which has upset a lot of Zombies players that were expecting something different and more of a classic style of gameplay. I won't keep you waiting too much longer on what that is, but jumping into the traditional stuff, we have the return of equipment, a primary weapon, a secondary weapon, as well as a tertiary weapon, meaning a third weapon, which could very well mean a melee weapon, just like we saw in BO6, self-revive, as well as kill streak. The last normal inventory system that is included within this code, which is upsetting a lot of people, is that the armor system is returning in Black Ops 7 Zombies. Now, at least from the reaction I'm seeing on Twitter, there is a lot of people that are very, very disappointed to see that armor is returning again in Black Ops 7 Zombies, with some people are extremely heated at seeing the armor system return in Black Ops 7 Zombies. Now, truthfully, I didn't expect anything less. I'm sure for most of you watching, you probably didn't expect any less. But what I would say is that if your reaction is that you are outraged at armor coming back, then I don't blame you, because after the reveal of Black Ops 6 Zombies and all of that feedback from that point up until the launch of BO6 Zombies to now, it's been made very clear by a lot of people that they just simply don't like the armor system in Zombies, and that the entire thing should be scrapped for more classic Zombies mechanics. I don't completely disagree with this take. However, if today Treyarch were to take the armor system out of Black Ops 6 Zombies completely, then the game would just not function properly. It's very clear that the modern day zombies of Cold War and Black Ops 6 were crucially built all around this armor system, and if you just took it away, and by take away I mean specifically take away inside of Black Ops 6 and Cold War, then the game would just be too difficult to be enjoyable. And Treyarch actually gave us a glimpse of what the game would play like if they took away armor plating as well as crafting tables, because in the Jingle Hells game mode, both of those things were gone. You were constantly at a disadvantage in that mode, having a lot less health than you typically would. However, I still think there is a discussion to be had about the idea of armor in Zombies, and it might not necessarily be that the mechanic of armoring up in Zombies being a problem, but rather the fact that it is one-to-one identical in its animation and overall execution to Warzone. In Warzone, you pick up armor plates off the ground and you plate up, and you do the exact same thing in Zombies, and I think that's where most of people's issues with the armor system lie. If the appearance of the armor system and the mechanic itself was zombified and looked physically different, made a bit more narrative sense in the world that we're playing in, then I think people would have a lot less issue with the armor plating system. And whilst the argument can be made that they should go back to the old classic ways of buildable shields because there was nothing wrong with that, there isn't anything wrong with that. But on paper, plating up is a lot more practical. You don't need to look up a tutorial to learn all sorts of spawn locations to build a shield. You can survive a lot longer having armor plates, and you also don't have to run across a map every time your shield breaks. But it's a very sensitive topic, so I'd love to know where you stand in the comments below. I am just expressing multiple different points of view here rather than pushing my own personal opinion, because I want to give you guys the most well-rounded viewpoints of this topic so that you can come up to your own conclusion. RealityUK also found that within this invent system is operator, meaning that there won't be a set dedicated crew of only 4 characters that you can play as and choose from. You'll be choosing from a multitude of operators, assuming that carryover is going to be a thing. But even if it's not, all of the operators that you can play as in Black Ops 7 multiplayer will be choosable operators. It won't be just the set dedicated crew, but I assume the system will be identical to BO6, where if you choose the set crew, you'll be getting a lot more narrative information and quotes, but you can just play as whoever you want. Another strange find is that there is not one, but two different ability slots within the event, which is very different to our one field upgrade that we have currently. So potentially you could have two abilities set on a field upgrade, or you could have two different abilities active. I don't really know what that means. Another strange addition is skill track 1, skill track 2, skill track 3, and skill track 4, which either indicates that there is the ability to track 4 different augment unlocks at once rather than just one, or there might specifically be a new feature where there are skills that you can apply to your character before going into a game, and you have specific skills that you can enable with 4 skills total. Now, we need to bear in mind that whilst this was code discovered within the files of COD HQ right now, there is a chance that none of this may actually end up being in the final game. The game is still in active development. Anything can change at this point, but it is very interesting to note. But the biggest thing about all of this, and if you're still here at this part of the video, I really appreciate it, because all of these inventory system bits that we've spoken about is specifically for Black Ops 7 Outbreak zombies. And right now, all that's officially confirmed is that we're getting another twisted chapter of round-based zombies in the heart of the Dark Ether. Treyarch hasn't said that there are other zombie modes in this game. All they've said is it's round-based. With all that we've spoken before, this is all apparently for Outbreak, which currently is in the code for the game. So with the official confirmation that round-based zombies is definitely in BO7, and then we have this leaked code that suggests Outbreak is coming, there is a chance that we're going to be getting a full year of both round-based and Outbreak. And whilst I highly doubt that any of the systems in Outbreak, if it is coming, would be different to round-based zombies, everything we've discussed is specifically for your Outbreak inventory slot. So some of this stuff could be simplified in round-based zombies or just completely removed, such as the new confusing elements like the 4 skill tracks, as well as there being 2 abilities. They could be specifically for Outbreak as opposed to being in round-based. Reality also found some new strings that confirm some areas of the apparent Outbreak map. Now, he tweets saying, "Few new strings doesn't really mean much," and I don't think he understood at the time what the abbreviation OB meant, but there's multiple references to areas of an Outbreak map with them being labeled green, yellow, orange, and red. And this is not unusual to see throughout Black Ops 4 Zombies. Treyarch had the code names of every DLC map to be named after different colors. Code names of the Zombies maps in BO6 are currently named after gemstones, so it seems that there is an Outbreak map that currently exists within the code, and we have seen that there is going to be at least 4 different map zones. If that means 4 different locations on a massive map, or similar to what we saw in Modern Warfare Zombies, there could be 3 or 4 different tiers of map difficulty, where the closer you get to the middle, the more dangerous and intense the experience will be. My hopes and wishes that if Outbreak is actually coming to Black Ops 7, then this time we see it on a completely unique map made for zombies. We don't want to see a Warzone map reskinned and reused for zombies. We don't want to see big Fireteam maps reskinned and reused for zombies. I want to see a completely original zombies map that has completely original or fan favorite remastered POI areas of previous zombies maps that are stitched together to make an amazing open world map. I'm really happy that we get to discuss this topic in this video, because an amazing follower of mine known as TheMattieboy replied to a tweet of mine at the end of June with his idea of a Call of Duty open world zombies mode which combines Outbreak and Modern Warfare 3 but on a map with almost all zombie locations, and dropped this concept, and it went absolutely viral within the Twitter zombies community. And it's an absolutely perfect idea on paper. Just imagine all of these different areas in one massive open world map. It would be truly amazing. I almost want to make a dedicated video talking about specifically this concept, because it is so good and the potential is so humongous with this. And it's honestly the only thing that I didn't like about Outbreak is that it just didn't feel like we were on zombie specific maps. They tried to sort of shift that up a little bit with one of the maps, Sanatorium, being set at night when the normal map is set in the day, as a way to kind of give it a zombies feel. But I think this would be the much better scenario to go for. I mean, you sort of have a concept proof with the Blackout map. We had some zombie zombies areas there, like Transit, we had Buried, Shadows of Evil with the boxing gym. It would be so cool. I'm really impressed that the MrDalekJD went so far in expanding on this concept. He colored it in. He mentioned so many different locations with bits like orders, elephants, dragons, and a Z-Rex just stomping around the map. Horizon Drac is on a mountain where it always snows. George Romero's wandering around the lighthouse. You've got sandstorms on the tomb, 9 Ancient Evil, and Buried. It would be just such an amazing concept and something which I think would just be so organic and fresh for zombies, but just something that would be so beloved. Currently, the closest thing we have to this is the custom zombies experience for Black Ops 3 called They Victus, which very much like this has a huge map that is split into multiple POIs from different zombies maps, and it works really well. It's a really great proof of concept of what Treyarch could possibly do if they do decide to bring Outbreak back and really overhaul it. It sounds silly, but my own personal opinion is I can't quite believe that we could get Outbreak in Black Ops 7 zombies, just because round-based zombies is such a huge focus in BO6 and will be in BO7. It'll be really surprising if they could support both without one mode suffering over the other, like we saw in Black Ops Cold War and Outbreak. But it doesn't end there, because following up on the inventory slots that RealityUK discovered, he also discovered that there is also the option for a quaternary slot, which is basically the wording for a 4th weapon slot within your inventory, which makes him assume that Mule Kick will be coming to Black Ops 7. At the moment, we're still waiting for the final DLC map, The Reckoning, and we assume that there will be one more perk coming with that. And people have been assuming that it could be Mule Kick, but if this is true, then it looks like Mule Kick will be saved for Black Ops 7 instead. I'd love to know in the comment section down below what you think about both Armor, as well as the possibility of Outbreak returning in a big way in Black Ops 7 Zombies, existing alongside what we assume to be a full year of round-based zombies content as well. As soon as we hear anything officially, I'll be sure to update you, but if we get any more leaks like this, I'll also be sure to update you guys. But of course, take everything we've discussed with a pinch of salt, because anything can change in the world of game development. There's a chance that none of this could make it into the final game and it's just a bunch of leftover code from stuff that they might have been testing, but it makes for a great conversation nonetheless. Let me know your thoughts and I'll catch you for another video hopefully very soon.